skipper's done it.
Danaher! Beautiful chapter it is for the Bombers.
Well, Darren, plenty of love coming off the Twitter, and a lot of questions. You're now coach of Eastern Range. I think this is your 8th season.
Yes, it is.
And you've got a couple of Bombers were with you last year. First of all, Josh Begley's one that the fans they've liked his work so far.
Yes.
He came from a long way back. Just tell us your memories of Josh.
Josh was never on our radar. Well, he was on our radar, but wasn't doing what we thought was required to get an invite in. We saw him play. He wasn't in our initial squad last year. We saw him play early at Upper Ferntree Gully, I think he is. I think it's Upper Ferntree.
That's right, yep.
Lucky I didn't say Ferntree Gully.
No,
because
they don't like each other.
Rivals there. So Upper Ferntree Gully. He was playing, I think they were 3rd division, but he was playing seniors as a 17, 18-year-old, and he kicked 6 or 7 in his first game, and then another similar bag, and we sent one of our assistants down there and had a look at him, not to see whether he'd kick goals or not, but what he did off the ball and those sort of things. And his work rate was really good. He was well overweight, but he seemed to see the game really well, and we thought, well, we'll get him in. That was probably round 3, and he came trained. He trained the house down the first night, and I said to our boss, Len Villani, well, let's register him and we'll play him this week, because we're missing a few players. And he was a big, solid boy. He kicked 6 in his first TAC Cup game. And then as he went on, there was a little bit of interest in him, and we had a really good talk to him and his dad, and said, well, this is the landscape, this is where we're at the moment. It's up to you what you want to do. These are the things we suggest. And to his credit, he took it all on board, and I thought he was outstanding. I think he was runner-up to Dylan Clark, who's another draftee last year in our best and fairest, and he just kept on coming up and up through the ranks, from a rookie early on to late draft pick, and where some clubs are considering in the early 30s. So the Bombers are very fortunate to get someone like Josh, and I can really see a really bright future for him.
And Dylan Clark, you mentioned there, a bit of a slider in the draft last year.
Yes.
His brother Ryan's at North Melbourne.
Yep.
What sort of player do you think he's going to be?
He could be a 200 game player for the club. He's got some faults that he works really hard on, but his strengths are real strengths.
Is that mainly his kicking? Is that
there's a knock on his kicking, but he became better at that in terms of his decision making and not exposing that a little bit. He's elite in clearance work. He's elite contested ball. He's clean around the ball. He sees the game really well. Elite endurance. There's a player there that once, I think, given his opportunity, and hopefully the club are putting a lot of work into those areas that we spoke about before, that you're going to get a really good player.
Now, Jamie's very impressed with Begley, and he wants to know any more hidden gems at the Rangers this year for the Bombers.
Well, I'm not sure if they're too hidden at the moment. I'm really happy with our top-end talent that we got out at the Rangers. Jaden Stevenson's been, touted as a number 1 or around an early pick. I got a 204 centimetre ruckman, Sam Hayes, who was an All-Australian last year as a 17-year-old. Joel Garner's in the AFL Academy. Harry Nolan's a developing key defender.
Chera.
Adam Chera, who I think's as good as I've had come through. Had a year off last year with a knee injury, but he started the year off really well. Minot, Ross.
You could have 4 in the top 15, 5 in the top 25, possibly, couldn't you?
Yeah,
it could be a huge year for the Eastern Rangers, no doubt.
And we've one hidden, not hidden now, he's a boy called Riley Stoddard, who's been first year in this year as a top age. He's from Yarra Valley Grammar, and he started the year off really well. He's a bouncy sort of half-back wing type. Really confident that we're going to get a good batch coming through again as well.
You've had some good names come through. Boyd, Petraka, I think is another one. Patton, who's the best one that's come through in your time?
I would think Christian Petraka. I was fortunate. I coached at Gippsland Power when I finished here, and had Brendan Goddard and Jason Winderlich come through. So 2 or more Bomber players. But I think Petraka, he just gives you something different. and I think people have already seen that. And there's going to be a game in which people will see what he can do throughout that whole game. And I think that will then, as he becomes more experienced, that will become a regular thing you'll see. But I always thought Patton was a very, very good player. He hasn't had a lot of luck with injuries, but he's now starting to get a run of it. I think Sam Wiedemann's going to be a really good player. He was another one, a number 7 pick a couple of years ago. So it's, as a coach of these boys, it's really something you're proud of in your job. And I love looking and seeing which boys are playing and, watching them play and seeing how they develop. And, the job's really rewarding, coaching the TAC Cup, and hopefully that continues this year.
Couple to finish with from Greg Walker. Who was the most skillful player you played with? You played in some great sides.
Yes.
Who'd you like leading to?
Not Scotty, because he didn't kick the ball to me.
We could lead.
you
but I
could
kicked
lead.
over the top of his head.
Well, he got you to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think easily Mark McCurry.
Yeah.
Merckx was just a sensational player.
Is he the most underrated? It seems strange, underrated player you played with, because I think he would be close to that for me.
Yeah, a little bit.
think
People
people
ask me
forget
who's the
how-
best player, and I regularly mention Merckx. I think he's as good a player as you'd see, and him up and going was just a fantastic thing to watch. Very skillful. Wasn't great on his left foot, but
Can't have it all.
no, that's right. But was able to, get his way out of positions where he might be exposed in that area. But he was a fantastic young bloke coming through, and just he's a ripping player.
That's an interesting one. Out of you two, who do you think had most handballs in your career?
Well, I would say, are we talking training as well?
No, I've only got the stats on the actual
Right.
games.
Okay. I'm going to say I had the most. How many years you play?
15?
15.
Yeah.
You played 2 more than me. I reckon I've had more than you.
Yeah, I think he would have, because I reckon Boris would have had more of the ball.
Well, he played midfield a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Scotty,
you
you
played
had.
back a couple of times.
Yeah,
didn't you?
that's
How many
right.
do you think
Well, I
you
was
had?
handball
How many do you
Olympiad.
think you had roughly in your career?
Oh, I'll say 3 to 4 a game. So what's that? Maybe 800 to 900.
835. Boris, what do you reckon you had?
238 games.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's go. I'd say 4 or 5 a game. I reckon nearly had about 900.
I reckon he had 11 or 1200.
1,070.
I got you
So you
covered.
got him by a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
That's about right, Dave. He spent more time in the midfield.
Exactly.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. As a young player coming through, and you try and give advice to these young
right,
boys,
yeah.
he's
That's
taken
a win for him.
Yeah,
That's
he's
a win.
taken that to the letter. I'm very, very proud of the young man.
Finally, Darren, your thoughts on this Essendon side this year and what they can achieve?
Oh, look, it's I'm really pleased for the club. It's first time, from a personal point of view, over the last few years, I've really taken an interest in them. It's probably not the forum to say, but I'm very disappointed in what happened the previous years, as were a lot of the players I played with and past players. But it's a fresh start, and I'm really happy for what the club have done in terms of trying to turn things around. And I have a young family who want to be interested in football, and they're now on board as well. And I think it's refreshing. I talk to some older teammates who have the same sort of thinking and feelings now. That you're always proud to be an Essendon player, but over the last 4 to 5 years, it was a disappointing time obviously for the club. But to see what's happening now, to see how they've started the year, and to see how they've really got back to the people that matter in the supporters and members, and really got them involved again, I think is really important. And I'm really hopeful, and that over the next few years they can get back to where we should be. And for me to say we, I haven't said we for a few years, but I'm hopeful that we can get back to where we should be and have some final success. The group are starting to, they look to be gelling pretty well together. We've got some exciting new players coming through. It's enjoyable going to a game now, and occasionally when I go to a game and having a real interest in them. So, hopefully they can have some success. As I said, some good players coming through. and hopefully that success is just around the corner.
Well, Darren, thanks so much for your time. It was a great career, and keep on producing some players down there for the Bombers at the Eastern Ranges.
Good on you. Thanks, Jules.
Scotty, thanks for your time. And
Pleasure,
next
Jules.
week, Bomber fans, a huge show on the Friday Footy panel lead up to the Anzac Day game. So get all your questions in at Essendon FC, #Friday Footy panel, and good luck to the Bombers against the Crows on Saturday night.